Greetings and salutations, friends and family. Come join us in this video as we explore San Juan and Old San Juan. After getting up at 2 a.m., 2 flights, 2 layovers, and 7 hours of air travel, we landed in San Juan at 6 p.m. We arrived at our Airbnb and got settled before we tackled the city the next morning. Some might say that San Juan is unsafe, and at first glance the city looks a little rough. But we felt safe. That is not to say we did not take precautions and were very mindful of our surroundings. I do not know if the condition of the city was like this before the hurricane, but right next to homes and businesses that appeared to be abandoned, we saw some that looked very nice. After the great car rental debacle of 2019, we finally made it to Old San Juan. We started out by visiting the harbor. Once a booming center of trade, now this is home to cruise ships and caters to tourists like us. Then we stumbled upon these benches on rails. So I commented how there were no railroads in Puerto Rico. It was at this point we found a plaque describing the benches on rails. Let Terry read them.
The Covadonga train station was built on the landfill. This grand central station connected Pier 6 and the other piers with the railroad's main routes. To deal with the growing number of passengers and products arriving at Pier 6 to connect with the train for transport to the interior of the island, warehouses and workshops sprung up around the port and the train station. The port was overflowing with merchandise, steamships, barges, fishing boats, sellers, buyers, and dock workers loading and unloading the ships. With time, activity decreased as the port became mechanized and travel by air and motor vehicle became more common. The train stopped operating in 1957 and loading docks moved away from San Juan. Today, most human activity in the port of San Juan revolves around tourism and recreation. However, the dramatic history of Pier 6 remains alive in our memory. From Pier 6, it was easy to see the tower of Covadonga Central Station in San Juan, the hub of a rail system that encircled almost entirely the island of Puerto Rico. The Compañía de los Ferrocarriles de Puerto Rico began construction of the train in 1891. By the turn of the century, the American Railroad Company of Puerto Rico took over the project, completing the railroad system that would connect San Juan to coastal towns throughout the island. Within half a century, the Puerto Rican railroad system covered more than 300 miles of territory. The train and other railroads connecting haciendas and centrales provided easy access to most piers of San Juan Port for the export of sugar, coffee, tobacco, and other products cultivated inland. The train also carried new foodstuffs, metals, wood, machinery, textiles, and other imports from the port to towns around the island. This great symbol of prosperity and modernity disappeared in 1957 when displaced by a more modern mode of transportation, the automobile and its network of roads reaching all corners of the island.
So I guess that answers my question earlier about why there's no rail here.
Old San Juan is one of the oldest cities in the New World, at over 500 years old. It has an incredible history. Founded in 1509, it was the first stop after leaving Europe at which ships could get fresh water and provisions. Because of this, it was key to the trade routes to the New World. One of the things on our list to see in Old San Juan was the Governor's Mansion, which is the oldest Governor's Mansion in the New World. Unfortunately, while we were there, the Governor's Mansion was closed to the public, so we were unable to get a view inside. This chapel in Old San Juan is one of the most beautiful and historic landmarks on the island of Puerto Rico. It was built in 1753 to commemorate a miracle that occurred on this site. A painting of Christ of good health was placed over the altar. The chapel is a religious museum. The beautiful silver and gold altar was made from offerings brought by the faithful in gratitude for health and recovery. At the sides of the original painting, there are 2 oil paintings by the famous Puerto Rican painter Jose Campeche. I think I pronounced that correct. The top part of the altar is wood and gold leaf, and most of the objects kept in the chapel are the original ones from 1753. Las Palomas Park, originally a rampart for cannon emplacement, it was constructed during the 18th century. From this park you can see La Princesa and the Coast Guard base. Now Las Palomas in Spanish means pigeon. And yes, there were tons of pigeons in this park.
What's that?
I almost got pooped on.
Oh, we better get out of here then. Oh, we got the pigeon pool over here too.
Don't, but they look like they're the same.
For centuries, Spanish dignitaries entered San Juan through this gate, called the San Juan Gate. From here, they proceeded up the street behind you to the San Juan Cathedral to thank God for safe voyages.
It is said that these cats can trace their genealogy back to the original cats that came over from Spain in the 1500s. Old San Juan is a beautiful city with its Spanish architecture, narrow cobblestone streets, monument squares, restaurants, and tons of history. If you're planning a visit to Puerto Rico, make sure to set aside a day or two to explore this wonderful city. After exploring Old San Juan, we headed over to the Puerto Rican Capitol building. Here you can get a free tour of this beautiful building.
So this building's where the legislation of Puerto Rico works. That's Puerto Rico Senate on the second floor there. The House of Representatives on the second floor.
Okay.
Building's
Are they in session right now?
Today's Thursday. They should be in session. At least the Senate today should be in session. They normally get together Mondays and Thursdays.
Okay.
But since Monday was a holiday, kind of threw the schedule off a bit.
Okay. What was the holiday for Monday?
Columbus Day.
Oh, okay.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, me too.
So this building is cement foundation covered in marble. It's, out of all the state capitol buildings in the United States, it's the one with the second most marbles in its construction. It has 21.
Okay.
What has the first?
Iowa, they have 29.
Interesting.
So this building has 16 Italian marbles, 4 American marbles, 1 Spanish marble.
Okay.
These are the only capitol building in the United States that faces the ocean directly. You can see it through the door there.
Okay.
That was done intentionally to show the world that the capitol building is open to people from all over the world, not just for the people of Puerto Rico. So doors are open towards the ocean as an invitation.
And what's the statue up there?
That's St. John the Baptist, the namesake of San Juan.
Okay.
Also, this capitol building is the only one that has mosaics in the ceiling. What you see in the ceiling are all little pieces. ¿Cómo está, representante?
Okay. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, all those images are about 6 million hand-painted stone tiles.
Wow.
Each about the size of a dime. They were painted one by one by Italian artists, a team of 25, then brought to Puerto Rico by ship, and then assembled in the Capitol building's inner dome by one artist alone named Gino Garibaldi.
And how long did it take him?
13 months.
Wow. He's a fast worker.
And like I said, these are the only ones of their kind in the United States. No other state capital has mosaics in the inner dome. Those are the only ones.
And how many pieces did you do? 6 million?
A little bit, I don't know the exact number, but it's a little bit over 6 million. Now, the corners are historical moments of Puerto Rico. You have Christopher Columbus arriving in Puerto Rico on November 19th, 1493.
Okay.
Followed by the colonization of Puerto Rico by the first Spanish governor, Ponce de León, talking to the native Taino people, the indigenous people of Puerto Rico, and behind are the African slaves. 3 races mixed together make the Puerto Ricans of today. End of slavery in Puerto Rico on March 22nd, 1873. And the last one shows Puerto Rico's independence from Spain in the year 1898.
Slaves in Puerto Rico from Africa?
Yes. The center has the Greek goddesses of inspiration, the Greek muses, and they represent all the government committees as well as divine inspiration. The centerpiece here, this is the actual Constitution of Puerto Rico, the real thing, signed in 1952. This is our version of the American Constitution, so this is a more modern version of the U.S. Constitution. It has the same body, and even has its own Bill of Rights, which is over here. But that's one of the differences. In our Constitution, we have a Bill of Rights and Constitution in one document instead of two separate ones.
So who signed the Constitution?
The 92 members of the Constitutional Convention of Puerto Rico. The signatures are on that side.
Okay. So they weren't senators and representatives?
They were senators, some of them were politicians, even a future governor and a current governor signed it.
Branching off of the main hall are two wings. Each wing houses exhibits of Puerto Rican history. This wall honors those brave Puerto Ricans that served in the U.S. military, most making the ultimate sacrifice and earning the Congressional Medal of Honor. That's about all. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. If you're not subscribed already, hit that red button. And remember to hit the bell icon to be notified when our next video is released. Until next time.